We are back with another episode of How to
Vangood.
Good. You're back on track.
So timid, Elliot.
Yeah, I was talking with. Shut up. We were talking. Emily and I were talking about Dex the other day because she had a big change in how she goes about playing, and she's been better because of it.
I had an epiphany, and I got first place at our tournament place.
Yep.
How?
Well, the answer is quite simple. Found a deck that works for her.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing that I'm actually surprised we didn't talk about sooner, because it's kind of a big deal when it comes to choosing what you're going to play in this game.
Most people just go in, don't have any idea, they just try to pick something up, and then they get disappointed.
They get disappointed when it's not the kind of deck they wanted to use. Because, while yes, you can get cards for aesthetic value, if you want to play them, you should play something that works for you.
Even if they're
It's like the Kagero, for example. Some people like women in their deck. Kagero are notorious for not having that.
It's a sausage fish in there.
Like, we had to budget this deck just to have a female draw trigger in there.
Dan needs his women's.
So, I can understand that maybe you want, but if you want to play the game to actually play, you shouldn't think less about the aesthetic value and more about what is your style.
You can always get a mat with the pretty lady on it.
Which is what I'm going to do. But the reason this all came up is because, well, like we said, she was trying so many other decks before. What are they? Mermaids,
Narukami. We had to play Spike Brothers. We had to play
Pale
Gold
Moon.
Paladin, Pale Moon. What else? Tsukuyomi.
Yeah.
Coco.
Yep. Point is, she's probably tried many decks over the time since she started, and none of them have really worked for her. Like, she likes how they look, but she can't play them quite right. No offense to you, but in some of the decks she kind of sucked at using them. It's just not her style. And then when Bees came out, the Musketeers,
Suddenly
clicked. She's now playing much better than before. And dare I even say, probably one of the better players at the store because of it now. Or at least getting to that road.
Yeah, because, like, the thing about me winning first place is I didn't win that because of luck.
Yep, actually everyone else was getting so many lucky tricks against her.
Yeah.
And she still won.
Yeah, I was going against Kevin, and he had a Maelstrom deck. And every single round, we went 3 rounds, he got at least 3 heal triggers, if not 4. And they all went off. And I still beat him.
Yep, and reason why is because how her mindset is she likes to take things slowly due to her
I have a lot of mental disabilities.
Yeah, she has a lot of mental abilities when it comes to cognitive processes.
For a while we thought I was autistic, actually.
Yeah. And as a result, decks like the ones we mentioned, which are very simple in how they go about using their cards and their steps, therefore you're expected to play them fast. She never had the time to really think about it.
Yeah, I just start panicking. This deck forces you to be very slow.
This deck is a very slow deck because you got so much crap you have to do.
Cards, shuffle cards.
Bring out one thing.
It's in this deck's playbook to take a long time to do things. Therefore, people can't justifiably get mad at you for doing it. Therefore, she has time to think things through and think what she's going to do.
Because even when I have to go fast, it's like, well, I have to shuffle, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it gives her time to think, therefore she won't panic, and therefore she won't make a mistake. She gets the chance to think, what is my options, what do they have, etc. It's the style that works for her, and now she's doing much better because of it.
Yep.
And that applies to other people too, like Elliot. He is a guy who likes playing lots of RPGs, in particular Fire Emblem.
Strategy games.
Yeah, strategy is his forte. So it was not any surprise to me that he would be using a deck like Tsukuyomi, a deck that forces him to strategize because there's so many things he has to keep in mind and remember.
I like a learning curve.
There's
There's Grand Blue, there's even Kagero to an extent.
It's he plays decks that basically make him have to really think about what he's doing.
They have a plan. Execute that plan.
And change plan as necessary, because like it's not just a Tsukuyomi isn't just straightforward run forward like Gold Paladin. Gold Paladin is there's a plan.
Yeah.
Just go. Tsukuyomi is you have to adjust.
Oh, we don't.
I'm gonna wait. No, I'm gonna kill him now.
Oh, let's just talk about Gold Paladin right now. I know some people who use them, and whatever, it's fine. But if there was ever a deck to get people into the game competitively, it would be that deck, because there is no preference to it. If you can play a game quickly and you don't really care about anything else about the deck outside of just being able to win.
Were you a Yugi player?
Yeah, were you a Yugi player? Gold Paladin, there you go.
That's what I also find whenever I go up against people with my Musketeer deck. It's the Gold Paladin people who get the maddest that I am going slow. Like, Kyler one time literally came up to me. He's our local guy who plays Gold Paladin. He's actually a really good player. Yep. He came up to me and went, God, I hate fighting these things because they're so slow.
Alright, Gold Paladins are basically decks for people who don't have a lot of patience for going against decks. Like, I joke about not having patience, but I actually can wait forever if I need to. But these are the people I'm talking about usually just cannot stand waiting still for decks to finish. The other players of the Gold Paladins at our store are these kids, actually, that I know.
Oh, yeah.
They play them because, well, you don't have to think too much to play them. It's just slap cards down.
It's a good first deck.
If it seems like I'm bashing Gold Paladins a lot, it's only because I am, by the way.
No, but every game needs decks like those, or you don't get that inward traffic.
Yeah, because there's all the crap I give them. They do have a purpose, and their purpose is get people into the game.
They're training wheels.
Yeah, they're basically training wheels, because you don't have to think too much to play them.
You get your basics.
Because
maybe a little bit more.
The other thing about them is that you don't have to think. Like, a lot of people, we keep calling these guys Diet Paladins. But the thing is, everyone I talk to also says that they don't understand how to play this deck. I know you know how. But a lot of people I talk to are just like, I don't understand them.
I still screw it up.
Yeah.
It's because they're very specific in how they handle. Gold Paladins aren't, and that's why they're so easy for people to get in the game with. Because
I want that card. Whoops, I didn't get it.
Whatever, I'll just get it later. The idea of the deck is you just have to focus on how the game mechanics work rather than how the deck itself works. And then as a result, you just basically have to fire off skills when you can.
Vanilla bead.
And then you'll get there eventually. So
I don't know why. I understand how these guys work perfectly.
Well, it's because it just pertains to how you play things.
Yeah.
Me, on the other hand, as Elliot puts it, I play like Japan. I like things that basically dominate my opponents and make them at a clear disadvantage. So my favorite decks to use are the Paladins, this one in particular, because, well, it's Alfred and Soul Saver. As soon as he's out, I can recruit guys and just start beating them down without using my hand. And then when I get to the right opportunity, I can play the Soul Saver Dragon, give three of my guys a big boost.
Shazam, they did.
And then they either have to use everything they own to keep alive, or they can't afford to do it because they don't have enough cards to do it, and then they lose.
Another thing about that deck is also that it gives you a lot of control. Like, you don't have to worry so much about being grade struck, and you don't like for you, one of the biggest things I notice is you hate
being grade locked so damn much. And this is one of the decks that does it the least without having to figure out how this deck works.
This is... You gotta have some patience here.
Yeah.
And
being grade lock is not the end of the world with that deck.
Yeah, that deck is like a great grade lock. You can wait. You'll get it eventually.
Round 5, I didn't get my full moon until turn 5, and that kind of sucked, but
it's whatever.
Worked my way out of it.
Exactly, but yeah, that's why I like this deck. And the other deck I like to play is Zeal. Don't think I need to explain why, but since it's just to teach people, I'll tell you why. Because when you get to limit break 4 on him, as in 4 damage, he counterblasts 2, and for each dimension place you have, your opponent's Vanguard goes down by that much times 1,000. I.e., they got a 10k Vanguard, well now it's 5k, and you can easily make 20k columns in that deck.
Yeah.
Ends up-
Each line
yes.
demanding 2-3 cards, and that's tall order.
Mhm.
Especially when you gotta do it 2 turns in a row.
Yep, because the thing about Zeal is if you make the decks properly, which I did, I made it so that I can do it twice, at least twice in a game. If I had a starting Vanguard that didn't need a counterblast, if I got a heal trigger, I could probably even do it a third time. If for some reason they survived the second time. And that's essentially how it works. It just hits hard, and even if early on I don't have the limit break, Laurel's in there, so I can stand my Vanguard again and attack again, and get some extra cards for later.
And if you do also, if you do get the limit break and you do have Laurel out, oh my god.
Well, you probably ignore Laurel.
Laurel when you're getting to the end, because you're already hitting with such huge numbers, you're going to pressure more cards out of them if you just attack.
Yeah.
The other deck that's not here because it's not out yet, I like to play is Battle Sisters. I found a way to use them that I really like. It's essentially Royal Paladins combined with Think Tank, in that just
Kinda strong, kinda fast.
get some cards.
You're kinda bulky. It's kind of a lot of things.
It's a lot of things at once, and more to the point, it's one of the few decks that I actually love having stand triggers in, because the thing about its grade 2 lineup is anything can stand and hit something in that deck, because it's got an 11k, a 10k, and a 12k attacker, not including the grade 3s.
Smack 'em.
So it's like hit with one of your guys, attack with the Vanguard, get a stand trigger, that thing is stand, and if you can't hit the Vanguard, you can at least kill a rear guard easily.
I don't know. I was never able to keep up the front line in that deck. I don't know.
I really don't know why either. I always keep running because I've introduced Maple into the deck.
Smack,
If-
smack, smack.
If I need it, she's a 9k in the front. She's not as good as being a stand target, but she can still hit things. You know, that's what my deck styles are. Things that can kind of consistently be menacing to people. And those,
Spikes.
yeah, and it's also why the first deck I fully made, completely, was Spike Brothers. Because once you get into that Crush Rush zone, oh man,
Yeah.
people are scurrying, make sure they are ready for it, because they know they can't stop it. It's going to happen. So basically, just spend time making sure they're ready for when it does happen. I like that deck too.
Just reminded me of how hard I pre-qualified that Spike play that we didn't actually end up having to play.
Oh, I see. But
I
yeah.
stymied him so hard.
Yeah, but then there's other ways too. See, Dan has this thing where he just likes making people angry. So the decks he likes to play are your decks that include things like The End, which, while technically menacing, it's not really menacing once you know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But it annoys other players.
Then you have those infinite draw decks
Yeah.
or whatever.
He loves Tachikaze.
Goku, Bermuda, Tashi are I'm not quite sure what it is with Tashi. You get to do some really silly things that people aren't used to.
I think that's why he does it though.
Yeah.
So silly things people aren't used to seeing. So when they happen, they're like, "What the
You're
hell?"
attacking me with a grade 0. Stop it!
Yeah, they get frustrated because he's doing things that would otherwise be stupid moves in other decks.
Yeah.
But in Tachikaze, you're expected to do that. And he also likes playing the Soulless Ginger for that reason. Speaking of Soulless Gingers,
Hit you!
but in speaking of Soulless Gingers, there's this
There's a friend we shall keep anonymous.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I mean, in good taste. Even though it's totally not.
It's not good, but we should talk about it because this is a good point of the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
When you choose aesthetics over your style, she really likes things like Tsukuyomi, and what was the other deck she really liked using?
She plays
Right.
Sephiroth.
Yes. Well, let's start with Tsukuyomi first. So she really liked playing Tsukuyomi at first when it was announced, then she was getting cards for it. She really wanted to play it, but when she actually did, it was kind of when she did.
She was playing it way the hell back when I did at the regional, didn't Not team regional. I mean
the regular
singles last year. Yeah. And just the staggering difference in our placements.
It's a deck that requires lots of thinking and strategy and patience.
You don't autoplay it.
Yeah, you can't autoplay the deck.
Because I've seen all the scenarios.
But well, that's you, Elliot. And that's why you play that deck.
Like when we've given me Tsukuyomi, I've been able to be okay with it, but that's only because of one thing. I have a really good memory. So.
Which is funny when you think about the other problems.
Yeah. Like for certain things, I have a really good memory. That's one of the things where like I can remember stuff like that.
But that's my point. Some people
they don't work for something.
Some people can't do that. And it's actually funny when she started playing things like Spike Brothers, Sephiroth, and Coco. She was doing a lot better.
Things that just sort of do.
Yeah, not necessarily because she got better at thinking about how decks work in correlation to human error and junk, but mostly because she's playing decks that inflict pain on things because of human error, i.e. decks that sack or autopilot. That's the. So basically, the long and short of my point is, she likes playing decks that sack. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. The point is, she likes decks that sack. That works for some people. Some people can really like playing decks that sack. Some people are good at doing that sacking. That's why they play them. It's
it's not me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it's not you. You've shown that. I'm just saying. And I'm not saying a person's stupid or whatever if they can't do it. I'm just saying.
I can't do it.
I'm just saying their placement might just be better at being a sack. Yes, that means that for all technical accountability, people could say you're not winning your deck is in certain scenarios, because in a sense it's true, because it's just drawing cards or
heck, I've heard the reverse all the time. I lost to myself.
Exactly. I'm not saying that that makes you a bad player or anything. I'm just saying that it means that maybe there's only so far you can go with just your own skill, and maybe you need assistance. And decks like Sephiroth, Spike Brothers, etc., give you that assistance you need because they're extremely self-explanatory in what they do. It rewards good fortune. Unlike old Paladins, which awards good fortune and bad fortune.
Old Paladins award playing.
I will go back to Gold Paladins so much. I don't even know.
No, we're done with that.
It's going to happen, Elliot. But anyway.
We won't stop talking about them until they stop.
But anyway, then there's also players who don't know what they want to play. We have two people, in fact, that go through so many decks. Not even just make a deck and then make another one. They just can't seem to get their deck that they want to play together, so they'll give up on the deck.
We're not entirely sure why that is.
Yeah, we're not sure why it is either. They seem to, at the time, like the decks they play.
Like the game.
And they clearly like the game because they've been playing it for at least a year now. About a year now. So it's not that they don't like the game. It's just they're not finding a deck that they want to hold on to forever.
It might be the closest for Zach.
Yeah, Riviere.
Yeah, Riviere is probably the closest for one of our friends because he at least keeps it around.
He's been thinking about getting rid of it though lately.
And, he actually gave it to me to try to sell off. But he also plays Dayusha a lot, but that's only kind of recent. We'll see how long it stays.
And then he also did the Perfect Razor.
Yeah, did Riser. I haven't even seen it in a long time. Tried to do MLB. It's like he's going all over. I think it's just that you can't find a deck that is him.
Aquaforce.
Which is a problem that some people will come across when they first come into any given game.
It was me for a long time.
Yeah.
I guess that does require some playing around.
It does, yeah.
Ideally, you don't want to
invest
too much.
This is where proxying is a good idea.
It's a good idea to proxy or borrow a person's deck.
You go to any given event, you'll find someone who's willing to just let you give things a spin.
It's better than just going random, just hoping it works out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll spend a bunch of money on the game, on decks that you don't want to play in the end. And no one wants to do that.
Yeah.
But then you also, I guess there's another kind of person that we can mention too. Pat, I believe we've shown him on here before. He has one deck that he always loves playing. It's Dark Irregulars, and he loves talking about how big his Vanguard can be, which tells you right there what he likes to play. He likes to play things that make his main guy huge, which is Dark Irregulars. Yeah, he likes power. He likes stronging his way through.
Because it does feel good getting Amon up to that big. It's awesome.
Yeah, him protecting himself can be so freaking big that it's really hard to justify blocking him.
Yeah.
And then I guess there are some people out there that don't care so much about the deck, they just want to win, so they'll play whatever. And, just because it's good. And I guess that's your choice.
I personally don't think that's a good way to play.
Nah.
Which one?
The playing just to win.
I see. Oh yeah,
Because I almost fell into that trap, and all it did was make me upset.
And it makes one person we know in particular upset every time it doesn't work out.
Ishiro doesn't like those types of people either, really.
Yeah.
The game's just basically built.
It's built to have fun.
Yeah.
It's not built to be competitive, super competitive. Or that's why they don't give out like cash prizes for every regional that goes by. It's because you're supposed to just have fun with it. It's not supposed to be this big ass deal. I mean, and look when you think about it, look where it's gotten us. I mean, we play because we like having fun with the game, and we're going to the national team tournament, knock on wood, for how we do there. But then you take certain other people who take the game very seriously.
They tried so damn hard.
And they try so hard to.
Fell so flat on their face.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
They try so hard, but they can't do it.
You psych yourself out.
Yeah, psych yourself. That's a good way of looking at it. Because you try so hard to do it, and then when it comes to the clutch, you make a mistake because you're caring so much about it.
I know about psyching yourself out more than anything. That's why I need the Musketeers, because everyone else plays so fast. I'm like, oh god, I gotta play fast, I gotta win. Oh my god. Musketeers, it's like, okay, stop, shuffle the deck, and calm down.
Exactly. It gives you a chance to do things. And it's really, and that's really what it comes down to. Don't think of what deck will make you win. Think of a deck that you have fun playing.
Hey, even if that's Mega Colony.
Yeah, even if it's Mega Colony somehow.
Hey, Zach has beaten me a lot with Mega Colony.
I know, it's not playing.
The worst thing ever. It's just.
It could be better.
It's gonna be hard. Hey, maybe you're the kind of person who really likes a challenge.
It could be. Maybe you like decks that you have to work for the victory.
Go for the underdogs. Some people like that too.
Because if you beat someone if you beat an entire tournament using Mega Colony, that's bragging rights.
That's part of the reason why we made the Blue Emperor deck, was to kick everybody's ass with Nova Grapplers. Because even if they beat it...
Bad, huh? We don't think so.
Yeah, because maybe you just want to challenge that because you want to show that it can be good. That's what I did when I played Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think we're accidentally covering all the player archetypes here.
Well,
is that a bad thing?
Your Timmies, your Johnnies, and your Spikes, we hit them all.
Yeah, that's the idea. We're hitting each kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's important.
It's important to figure out what you want to play, otherwise you're going to be like me and flounder about forever.
Yeah, and buy the decks that you, in the end, don't really care to play.
Because I proxied this like maybe 5 months before it came out, and at first I was like you guys said, oh, it's Diet Paladins. Immediately I was like, And then I actually started playing it. I read up on it, and I proxied it, and I just remember one night I was playing, I just texted you and went, oh my god, I love this deck.
I remember. Well, it is Dark Panels when you think about it. They summon a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Because they gotta work for it harder. And that's the key. It's the work for it harder that you need, because it means you have to do more things to do it, which means you gotta think about it more.
And you get that whole little brick wall factor that this likes doing.
Yeah.
It's not as extreme, but
I do like playing defense.
But then, that's why there's so many clans out there. It's out there, all out there, so you have the ability to find what works best for you. Because if you go into a tournament with only intent on winning, and you get a deck that people get just because it's the best deck running at the moment, you might find yourself having a pretty bad time.
Especially if you haven't taken the time to just understand it and why it is top dog.
Like this one person who who kept coming to our site like all the time back a long time ago, who would always use Gold Paladin, Spectral Duke, I recall, because he only played because he liked winning. And then,
Was it?
It was Duke. I remember specifically because I'll explain why. You probably know, and I don't know. But the point is, so one day I decided I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna, if I have to, I'm just gonna ride Juggernaut because I was using Spike Brothers at the time, and I never saw the Emperor because, of course, at the time Emperor would just never freak up. So I just rode the Juggernaut. Every game that day I did, I won so hard that I almost never got past 3 or 4 damage. And then I got to the finals where I fought that guy. I had to ride Juggernaut, which was good because he could never, could never get the things that hit good numbers on me ever. In fact, one time he commented on that when I dropped like just 10k to block his 20k column. I mean, what he did to make it, but the point is, he said after me a 20k column, I dropped 10 to block it, and he says, you gotta add more. It's like, no, I don't. I'm 11, and he does a double take and looks at it because he doesn't realize that I'm not running the 10k. I'm running an 11k.
Autoplay.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you just assume that the person is going to just run the 10k, because at the time 11ks were really rare to see actually be the Vanguard, you pay for it, and he did because he just assumed I was going to have the Emperor out. I didn't. So he was using his 20k columns and 15k columns against an 11k, so I was dropping so little to stop him, and then at the end he couldn't keep it up, and I just overrun him twice. Since that day, I have never seen him play a Vanguard since. I've seen him around every once in a while, but he only plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. So I
only remember a Garmor Azel deck.
I don't think we're thinking of the same people.
Yeah, probably not.
But this is when I said Juggernaut was the best card ever. Because of that reason. It basically shows why you don't play this game just to win. Because if you do, you end up like that guy who stopped playing the game altogether and went back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he was playing the best, at the time, the best deck in the game, and he lost to Juggernaut Maximum. And solely Juggernaut Maximum, mind you.
Lost to Brutal Jack.
I understand that. I'm just saying, just him, because the other guys, would hit and run, whatever. But Juggernaut was just being 11, and that was all it took to win. Because he had no backup plan for the off chance that someone would be playing something higher than 10k. And it cost him the game because of it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic, a lot of people play it just to win. You can't do that for Vanguard.
Yeah, Vanguard is a game meant for playing. And I know it comes back to that a lot. It may sound like broken records, but it's the truth. And it's the main problem with people coming into this game from other games. They're expecting that it's a game where you have to be the best to win instead of just having fun. And when you do that, it'll probably make you lose more than win.
You can't take it too seriously, or you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
That's another thing where it's like
you can play a perfect game and still lose. Get used to it.
Yeah, and effectively that's what he did. Couldn't make any. He just didn't have the ability to make anything bigger than 20 at the time.
Yeah, like another thing is though, like when back to the topic of picking your deck. If you're gonna pick the deck that just is the strongest deck, if you're gonna go for Dote just because it's Dote, when I did my thing where I did my thing where I won first place, I went against Dote twice. I beat it both times, almost flawlessly.
Yeah.
Don't go thinking, oh, there's only best decks in this game. There's no such thing.
To be fair, I don't know if he plays it for that reason. He sticks.
Yeah, no,
that guy sticks to Dote pretty consistently. I think it's his deck.
He likes it because he likes Dote. I'm saying, but if other people go in thinking,
right. Well, that's the thing. That's right because
he rotates through the whole top tier.
Yeah, I know he plays that deck because he likes
it.
Yeah,
he likes it, and that's actually my point. Even though he may not be able to hit it off the way other people who use Dote might be able to, he has fun with the deck. He seems to like how it plays, even if it's not making him the best player.
In a way that we just don't.
Yeah, because again, we can win with this deck all the time, but we hate it.
Yeah.
Well, hate's a strong word. We don't like to play it.
Yeah. He likes playing Dote, and I respect him immensely for that.
And it's just really how the game goes. Anything else to add? Any other decks you might want to bring up as examples? I think because the only other decks I can think off the top of my head are decks that people use because they just like them, like Angel Feathers. I usually only see people use them because they just like the Angel Feathers.
We actually were talking to a new guy, and we were listing some of the decks that came up, and I mentioned Angel Feather, and he was like, "That's the deck I want to play."
Never even seen the cards before. Never played a game in his life. Heard the fact that there are angels in this game. Wanted to play it right off the bat. Didn't know if that playstyle would make him like the game or not. But he was just dead set on playing it.
I think Angel Feather falls in line with Paladins. Really, it's consistent. It knows what it wants to do. It's not quite as
it's not there yet.
Raw advantage.
Yeah, it doesn't have raw advantage. It's a good word for it. It's like so close to being there.
Most decks are like that when you really think about it. They have to work on auxiliary advantage for the whole game, and that can be difficult to grasp.
Angel Feather's almost there, just like this deck's almost there. It needs one more card that needs to come out still.
That's the same thing to be said about Zeal. I love Zeal. Needs more twos. Needs more front row.
That's another thing about Dimension Police that we actually, when we were coming up with this, when we were going to talk about it, why is it the bad guy's the only one who works well with others?
That's a good point.
Because the heroes are selfish. Give me everything. I missed. Oh. What do I do now?
Because the good guys are all based around giving power to the Vanguard. So if the Vanguard misses, the other columns are just kind of sitting there.
Meanwhile, Zeal's like, okay, let's work together.
Yeah, the bad guy deck just sets it up so all your guys can hit hard. Even if the main guy misses or can't hit, the other guys are going to hit just as big because he makes them small.
Yep. Moral of the story, choose wisely.
Yeah, to make a very long story short, choose the deck based upon how you like to play games.
Period. Yeah. Anything.
Think long and hard about it, proxy a deck if you need to.
Yeah, don't just go for the deck that you think will win or the deck that just looks cool if you want to play competitively.
Hell, you can, for me, I love Maelstrom. I tried playing Aquaforce, I proxied out an entire Aquaforce deck, it didn't work for me. I might just buy one Maelstrom or the mat that has Maelstrom on it. There, that's all you need to do.
I think we found our tangent.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
So, any last words from you then, Elliot, since at least got last words from her?
I'm done.
Alright then. Yeah, that's basically all there is to it. Just choose the deck that you like to play and that's it. And that would be everything from this episode of How To.
You stole my life!
You were too slow. You were too slow!
So anyway, hopefully we'll try to make some more of these how-tos soon. We just need to get more consistent ideas of what to talk about.
Whatever you want to see, really.
If you have any questions, ask us on comments below, and we will try to make a video about it. Because we're just here to make sure people learn the game one card at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.